Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. We have some Farma G, man. Joe Dirt on production. Track is called Say It How You See It. So let's jump in, man. See what they got for us. I like that piano.
Yeah. When I was making classics with Rome, you was at home watching videos of how to get known. I had my place at the table, and the history books will tell you Farmer's foundation was the street with the crooks. I left the map, so you can trace it back to the essence. In the 80s, I had rap sessions instead of school lessons. Sprayed the trains on the central with the instrumental playing.
Hey, man, I love that picture he paints, man. I left the map so you can trace it back to the essence. I friggin' love that, man, because obviously the map he's leaving is his albums, man, his legacies, his songs. Everything is there, man. You can trace that shit back and see from the very start, you know, what has led him to be who he is today, man. And the artist that he is. And you know what? You know, when I was listening to Task Force, you know, when I got into this almost 6 years ago, when I started listening to Task Force and stuff, I truly did not appreciate Farma G as much as I appreciate him now. The stuff that I'm hearing from his albums and stuff, and his features on other tracks, I mean, I'm giving him his flowers, bro. He's I always thought of him as a great producer, but I was so focused on Chester being the MC, I never really gave Farma his due, man. And this cat can rap his ass off, bro. Big fan of him, man. And big up Joe Dirt on production. I'm digging the piano. The beat is dope.
Making classics with Rome, you was at home watching videos of how to get known. I earned my place at the table, and the history books will tell you Farmer's foundation was the street with the crooks. I left the map, so you can trace it back to the essence. In the 80s, I had rap sessions instead of school lessons. Sprayed the trains on the central with the instrumental playing on repeat before the birth of Farma G. In Apricot Jam, we burst the back doors. Jungs used to cross with no remorse, we come to fuck shit up. The happy hoodlums drove the club and terrorized the mics and shook the foundations. And best believe the hype, cause now it's folklore. They talk about the legend in the making. We could see the crown was there for the taking, cause them old kings died with all that shit they were making. I won't apologize, we could see the hate in their eyes. Young rebels, black, white, Asian and powerful, smashing down the barriers and walls start to fall. Cause that old guard crumbled, and none of us young guns could ever stay humble. That's the law of the jungle. Don't talk when big men speak. Your weak minds don't understand the situation is peak. This shit ain't made for the meat.
You know what? I would. I don't know exactly who he's talking about, the stories that he's touching on there, but I have heard stories about what it was like back at that time when, you know, Blade was coming, Farma was coming, Chester, all those cats were coming up. And I've heard some pretty interesting stories about some of the ways how people were being treated, things that were being said, and stuff like that. So I could see it being, I don't know if it's the same way as it was. I don't know if it was the same way then as it was now. Now I feel like, although there are people who gatekeep, I think there are a lot of people who just want to see other people succeed. But there is that crab in the bucket mentality. It's like that in any art form, any business, any part of life, man. There's going to be that crab in the bucket mentality in terms of you know, not wanting another person to succeed because you've done nothing with your life, or you know, like even Farma starts this shit when, you know, he's already out there doing shit and you're still watching videos about you know, how-to videos on YouTube, and he's already got a legacy, right? I mean, it's it's the people who put in the it's the people who don't put in the work are always the people who try to hold the people down who actually do the work. And when people get to a certain stage, and I've seen it in the writing community, there are people who shut you out, and if you don't have a name that they recognize, they have no time for you. And then there's other people who will treat you no different than they would treat someone that they've known for 40 years, or their favorite author, or maybe differently than their favorite author, but you know what I'm trying to say. There are ones who want to give you that hand up, but there are ones that want to shut as many doors as they possibly can, if it means that someone's going to buy my book and not their book. It's the same thing as this. If someone's going to book you for a show and not book me, or you're going to buy your album and not buy my album, then I don't want you here. I don't want you in my orbit. I don't want eyeballs on you. And that's just fucked. I think there's less of that now, or maybe I'm wrong. I just find that there's a lot more collaboration that I see these days. Crossovers from, like, I mean, I just did that Lee Scott track. He's known for Blah, but there he is on Melon Skin. I know he's done stuff High Focus and stuff, so I know it's, excuse me. If you didn't watch the Lee Scott one, getting over the flu, so I'm kind of junky all up in here and in here. So, I mean, let's keep going.
Jungle. Don't talk when big men speak. Your weak minds don't understand the situation is peak. This shit ain't made for the meat. I keep it real with anybody I meet, and every day is like the first day I rapped on the beat. I met some people in the industry with no faith, and they can't tell you what is cool cause they got no taste. Hey yo, I came a long way and been to many places. I'm not the best with names, but I remember faces. And it occurred to me my crew, they hold all the aces, while so many still unsure about the bare basics. I'm not prepared to be a part of all this he say, she say. I'm gonna say it how I see it, so I say it. I painted pictures with the radicals in 89, and sprayed the lines with the fangs in the heart of a lion. I used to sell a couple herbs to make enough to smoke, and sit with intense and freestyle on Station Road. These other crews weren't really ready once we hit the show. It went from battles to a ruckus, then a broken nose. We cut some DJs as we freestyle on their radio shows, and causing trouble everywhere that we go. There's mud fammer in the park with all the trouble and strife. This Camden wildlife, see my people surely arrive. The very crew drop beginnings, microphones were getting murdered. I seen a couple killings of some guys you may have heard of, and these were the hands that gripped the mic for love. The same hands that made the fingerprints of the gods. The stories told are documented, they are not a myth. This is real life, a place where superheroes exist, the rap overlords. North London's finest, we stand with the demons right beside us. Cause recognition's what we're looking, recognition we collect. Until this very day we picking up the mic. Check 1, check 2. Respect to all the UK crew, except a few who still suck and they can go get. And with the right to reply, I wave my flag up high. I'm Task Force, Mud Fam, Berry Crew till I die. I met some people in the industry with no faith, and they can't tell you what is crew, except a few who still suck and they can go get. And with the right to reply, I wave my flag up high. I'm Task Force, Mud Fam, Berry Crew till I die. I met some people in the industry with no faith, and they can't tell you what is cool cause they got no taste. Hey yo, I came a long way and been to many places. I'm not the best with names, but I remember faces. And it occurred to me my crew, they hold all the aces, while so many still unsure about the bare basics. I'm not prepared to be a part of all this he say, she say. I'm gonna say it how I see it, so I say it.
Really and truly, it ain't all about me, it's all about the Berry Crew and my family. So right now, I want you to make a big fucking noise, more than what you make for me. So if it work for my people, and all of us running around, making this possible, it wouldn't be happening. So could you please, after 3, make noise for the Berry Crew and the Mud family? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, man. I just wanted to let that second verse ride, man, because that was friggin' dope. Just talking, like, telling stories, man. I dig that shit. And it truly is. It truly is the better way to live your life, man. Don't get into that he said, she said bullshit. I mean, it's just nonsense. And you know what? If somebody has a problem with me, and they don't have the balls to say it to my face, then I don't want to hear it from secondhand, man, because for one, I think that's dangerous because especially these days, social media and shit and all that, you know, people living online, you can't trust anything that is said from anybody. And unless they say it to you, unless the person is actually coming and speaking to you, then you can't take anything for gospel, man, unless it's coming out of their mouth. I've seen too many friendships and shit get just flushed down the toilet because somebody said something that somebody said that they heard, and then next thing you know, people aren't talking or people are fighting and shit, and that's just nonsense. And also too, not talking shit. Like who like just keep the stuff, like keep your mouth shut. Like just like why even bother, man? What's the benefit to anybody's life, especially your own? Like what do you feel, like what does it make you feel better about yourself if you talk shit about somebody? I don't know, maybe. And then you know what, and then like the second thing you said, just tell it how it is, man. Don't sugarcoat shit. You know, don't pretend, don't lie. This, you know, if you don't have nothing, like it kind of goes back to that thing. If you don't have nothing, you know, nice to say, that's why I usually, you know, if I don't have anything nice to say, if I don't have anything worthwhile to say, like if I'm in a meeting at work, I have nothing worthwhile, I'm not going to fill time. I'm not going to open my mouth to speak just because I'm in a meeting, right? But if I see something that needs to be said, or if I believe I need to be heard over a situation, then I'll say it. Otherwise, who fucking cares? Just keep your mouth shut. No, that's how, you know, that's how I kind of look at it. And maybe that's not what he's getting at, but that's how I kind of try to live my life. I'm not perfect, obviously, with that. I get into my feelings sometimes, and I have to say shit, and then I wish I didn't. But anyways, man, cool track. Kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there. Not unusual for me, as you know. Nice to hear Joe Dirt on that beat, man. That was dope. And big up Farma, man. Like I said, nothing but love for this cat, and you know, whole new respect for him as an artist on both sides, man. So I'm sure you heard it before, but if you haven't, you don't have the album and you can afford it, make sure you go over, buy that shit, man. Stream it, listen to it tonight before bed. Show him some love. Leave a comment, a share, and a like. It all helps, man, in the world of algorithms and shit. All of those matter. And it puts money in their pocket. So show them some love. And I love you guys, man, each and every day. Thank you. Until next time, stay safe. Be good to each other.